I'm sure if you put on your television now, go on to any social media platform, you'll see there is a very big surge, an uprising of illegal immigration all over the world. Now, this is not only an African problem. This is something that you'll see all over Europe. You'll see it in the United States of America now. And I think with Trump getting into the White House, it's just made it worse. But let us look at what is exactly behind this phenomenon. Because at the end of the day, when you look at that television, you'll see it's always the poorest of the poorest that are always on the street, either protesting, marching, or toy-toying. But who are the perpetrators? If these people on the street are just puppets, who are the puppet masters? Now, this brings us easily for us to discuss of how does power really work in the world? What is the how understanding the power structure makes it much more harder for us to be used as pawns. I'm going to use a pyramid. Let's call this the power pyramid. And this pyramid, we divide it into 4 areas. Now, this is the foundation. The foundation of this pyramid is economy. Economy is means of production. Economy is simply the lifeline of any country. Who owns what? Who owns the factories? Who owns the land? Who owns the power stations? Whoever owns controls the economy. Now, economy is the survival for everybody. As I said earlier, it is the bloodline for survival. So whoever owns the economy or whoever controls the economy is the real power player here. This is the foundation. These are the people that have more to lose. Their interest is always they're heavily invested, and they'll do anything and everything possible to hold onto this power. The second layer here comes to politics. Now, most of us are familiar with politicians. Remember, with the economy, you don't have to be a citizen of a country or place for you to have a slice of that economy. You just have to be a person that thinks totally different. Now, if you look at the people that own this country, they become the ones that are going to sponsor politicians. Now, a politician depends and builds his career entirely on popularity, entirely on saying things that they imagine, but things that they cannot do. Now, in most cases, you come to a place like South Africa, and you see it now happening in the States, where they will tell you that if you're not born in this country, you cannot get into politics. Now, remember here, money talks. Whoever has the money, whoever owns the gold makes the golden rule. So this one here, the people that own the economy, for a very easy example, we use the Gupta case. They'll either buy whoever is going to be in politics, or they will sponsor whoever is in politics. Now remember, whoever sponsors you, whoever pays you at the end of the day is your master, to make sure that the needs, rights, and whatever the people that own the economy want is controlled. So those people decide here. In the beginning, we had people like Guptas, and right now, we all know there has to be somebody that is sponsoring whoever the mouthpiece is from a political point of view. So you find when a politician comes into place, they either change the tune, or whatever they're saying has to be in line with protecting the rights and the wealth of the master. Politics, when they go into parliament, the next level here now is legislature. These are people now, all of a sudden now, they have to appoint. Remember, it is the politicians now that are appointing your judges, they're appointing your magistrates. Now, the job of the politician here, apart from protecting the rights and the wealth of the economy, is to make sure that it is supposed to be a channel of distribution. Politicians are supposed to be there to make sure that the economy, the proceeds of the economy, the wealth of the land is filtrated or it flows onto the majority of the population. Now we're talking about a proper functioning world. The job of the politicians is to channel the wealth of the country so that people can fairly and equitably have access to it. That's in an utopia world. The politicians here now come to the legislature. Legislature, these are the people, and when we talk about this, I'm talking about the judiciary. These are the people that now form the laws of the country. The laws of the country, if you look at this structure, their job is to make sure that the laws protect the rights and the wealth of the economy. A judge that does not toe the line, sooner or later, will be debunked. We all know about supreme judges. Supreme judge is supposed to be a judge for life. And the point of that is to give that person security, to give that person a blanket security so that if his security, his future is secured, if a president or a politician cannot fire a supreme judge, then we assume that he will always do what is right for the law. He will always work for the constitution. In an utopia world, that's exactly what's supposed to work. But now you find a judge now can make laws that can come and even affect the economy. All of us, for an example, something like the carbon credit. All those things affect here. The politicians choose these people. Now remember, the politicians are an extension of the owners of the economy. The judges make sure that the politician is satisfied with whatever laws that he makes, and the owner of the economy is taken care of. And then the top one here is media. Media becomes the mouthpiece of the owner of the economy, because most of us have no idea what is happening in this country. Most of us have no idea what's happening in the world. So what do we do in return? We listen to news, we watch social media, and that forms our daily narrative. All of a sudden you'll see if there is an illegal immigration protest in Durban, there'll be another one here in Joburg, there'll be another one somewhere else, but we never take time to ask ourselves who benefits when things like those happen, because we don't have a distribution channel. Now, the beauty of media here, in an ideal world, media can expose, it can be used for whistleblowing, it can expose corruption, but it can only expose corruption if it is independent media. I don't remember ever having independent media in this country for a very long time. Media works for a specific population, for a specific financial sector, and for a specific reason. Now remember, for media to be in business, it needs to peddle negativity. For politicians to be in business, they have to peddle popularity. And these two now start working together. Media is supposed to report news, but the unfortunate thing now, media makes news. It doesn't report news, it makes news. It makes people, it makes causes. It creates and builds a new narrative. Now, until we understand how this power structure works, it doesn't matter where you are born. You can claim you were born in this country and you can show it as far as 100 years ago, 200 years ago. But you'll never see the rich people on the streets toy-toying, complaining about illegal immigration, because they understand that the real power stays here. All these other people are just actors. There's no single politician out there that is working for your interest, because you don't pay their salaries. Politicians, unless you go to a meritocracy kind of government, if you go to places like China. But these countries where we peddle democracy and where popularity becomes the ingredient for somebody to be elected into parliament, and he has to spend money, he has to invest, and then you give that person 5 years to get his return of investment back. He will never, ever work for you. He can only work for the person that put down the money for him to be able to fly up and down, for him to be able to support, to pay, get a quarter chicken and a t-shirt for his supporters. That is the person that is invested. And for the 5 years, he has to make sure that all the laws that are passed are for this person that owns the economy, has to get a return on his investment. So power has nothing to do with color. Power has everything to do with the resources. Power has everything to do with money. We can toy as much as we want. At the end of the day, the Bible clearly says in the book of Proverbs that the poor man saved the city, but he was immediately forgotten. People don't respect poor people. People only respect power. Money is power. Money is currency. Money is energy. And until we learn, the people at the bottom, until we learn that for us to have power, we have to make money. And that all that money is within us, but it's not within us collectively. We need to aggregate that money, and that's where we're going to get power. Which of these points do you agree or disagree with? Share with me in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe, share and like, and I hope to catch you soon. Bye-bye.